thing I've been realizing lately, especially with the women that I work with, is that powerful women don't actually lack power. They might think that they do, but what they actually lack is the permission to stop managing everyone around them and trying to manage the outcome of their life, right? And this is where their power leaks. It can go unseen and it can be frustrating and it can feel exhausting. I want you to know that if this sounds like you are not the problem. Powerful women are not the problem. My clients, and if you're watching this, this is probably you as well, are intelligent, highly capable, very intuitive, successful in ma many areas of their life, but you're still fucking exhausted. This way of being has probably worked your entire life and is the reason why you are thriving and successful, but it tends to break you down as a person the longer that you do this. And that's why it's imperative that you change this now so that you can shift and become the version of you that has what you want without killing yourself in the process. Here's why. When you're constantly anticipating reactions, you're expending so much energy and so much of your power into scenarios that will never happen. I can already feel like, oh, but it works. And it's like, yeah, of course it works, but you're fucking exhausted. And that's why it's time to change. They soften their truth. This one, I can like feel resistance in all of these, but this one is so true because it's like when you have spent your life managing others, managing the expectations of others, managing other people's emotions, managing the workload, like just all of it, your truth gets dimmed in a way that you don't even notice is happening until you start to slow down and step back. And then the women that come to me, they're like, Ashley, I don't even know what I actually want. Oftentimes they think that what they want is more money, which of course, who doesn't? But what they actually want is to return to their truth, to actually know what it is that they desire. When you're constantly doing this, another thing that is happening is managing other people's emotions. You lose connection to your emotions. Yes, that has kept you safe. Yes, that has kept you successful. When you learn to let go of this in a healthy way, it's a funny thing happens. I like almost don't want to say this just because it's, going out in the open. But what has been true for my clients is once you stop doing this and are focusing on inwards, when you're focusing on what is happening inside of you and your own emotions, it levels the playing field for everybody else. Everybody else is then allowed to feel their emotions. They learn how to process their own emotions, and it creates freedom for everybody. When you are somebody that is naturally managing other people's expectations and emotions, it can feel like you're powerful. It can feel like there's a sense of safety in it. And if I don't do this, the world will fall apart. And it's the exact opposite that actually happens. So just like a little permission slip there to start to see this differently, that perhaps when you start to let go and you start to manage your own feelings, emotions, circumstances, all of it, it frees everybody else up along with you. Where the power actually leaks. Why is this so important? When you are an extremely powerful person, and I'm not talking about having power over other people, I am talking about life force energy. When you are somebody that walks into a room and the energy shifts. Or what is actually happening is you walk into a room and you shift the energy. When this type of power is leaking, you will feel exhausted. You will feel resentful. It gets to a place where you are. The subtle ways that you start to dilute yourself, which is leaking your energy and your power, is not having boundaries and not having boundaries that are actually healthy and helpful. For example, a lot of powerful women, what they'll do, and I'm not saying that I'm guilty of this, but uh like keeping people at arm's length that are at arm's distance away, however that saying is, only allowing people to get so close to you instead of having boundaries around this is what I will tolerate in my life. You'll have boundaries, quote unquote boundaries, but they're skewed. They come out sideways. They're not actually helpful. They keep you as perceived safety instead of actual true healthy connection with others with boundaries. And when you learn to shift this, I'm telling you, your connections will be able to grow deeper. You will They will feel more fulfilling. Something that comes up a lot is resentment. You will feel so much less resentment because you're honoring yourself first, and that allows people to get closer, and it filters out the people that were only ever using you or taking from you, which leaks your power in a big way. And when you close up those gaps, life just feels better, but you also are able to have healthier and deeper connections with people that you might even have written off in the past because, they're just that way, they're just that way. When you shift, everything around you has to shift, and it's a really beautiful part of this work. The fears that most powerful women have around this are proven to be inaccurate. Another way that you're leaking your power and diluting yourself is pretending that you don't want more. This is so huge, especially with women, especially with powerful women, because society has trained us to be this way. If other people are suffering and I want more, that makes me a bad person, especially when it comes to religion. And I speak coming from somebody that has this background and has had to unearth layer and layer and layer of trauma and not great thinking, brainwashing around how a good person, a quote unquote good person, is supposed to be in the world. And what is happening is it's actually stifling progress. It's stifling, um, I don't know why they're showing this, but it's like when the tide lifts for one, it lifts all the boats. I know that's not the saying, but it's like, and this is something that we're trained to believe that if I want more, it's harming others. And that's simply not the case. I mean, unless you are actually a terrible person. But if you're watching this, I highly doubt that you are. I don't think that most people are. When you are able to follow your desires, follow your goals and aspirations for more, you will naturally lift others up as you go. And listen, good people having more money is only ever good and better for the community at large. I just see like the Flex Seal commercial where the guy like slaps the Flex Seal on the like leaking container. What and it's like that's what we're doing is we're like fixing all of these leaks. So it just was a funny visual that I got. But when you're able to start patching up these leaks, life just gets better. So many women and men too, but like so many women are chasing that good feeling. They're chasing, you think you want more money, which of course, you think that you want a relationship. You think that you want, new shoes or an expensive bag or a new car, whatever, which those might actually be your desires. But more often than not, what you actually fucking want is a life that feels good, a life that allows you to relax and rest and also be ambitious and succeed and all of it all at once. And we go about it in such a skewed sideways way because that's the way that we were trained to be. That is part of the patriarchy. And fuck that. Like getting to a place where you're able to actually enjoy your life for no other reason than you've slowed down and you've stopped managing everybody else and allowed your boundaries to be rock fucking solid. It is worth it. Then it's like the desires actually become what is actually true. What is a true desire? Is it I want to spend my day shopping to like fix the grief that I'm feeling that I'm not allowing myself to feel? Or do I want to actually wake up, feel the grief and move through the day and feel whole and complete, period. And then I'm like, oh, actually, what I desire is community. What I actually desire is to spend time with a friend. Actually, what it is I desire is to go buy the purse, like whatever it is. But you won't know what your true desires are if you don't patch the leaks where your power is being diluted. Another way that we do this is worrying how success will affect others. This is so huge. And I kind of talked about this a minute ago, but it's like when you are somebody that is successful and you are surrounded by people who are not successful. And listen, this is true for all of us right now, right? Like the fucking world is on fire. We get that. And the women that I work with are like, Ashley, I don't want to want more. And this is actually, true, 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 true. This is something that I struggle with because I talk about manifestation and I talk about money. And I know that it can be perceived as flippant or surface and not important in the grand scale scheme of things. But it's not about the fucking money. Everybody thinks that the solution to the problem is more money, which, yes, absolutely it is. But there's more to it than that. It's who you are being right now and who you are being when you have more money and how you show up in the world and how you use your energy in the world. And when you become successful or when you have success or when you have more than other people or when you want to have more than what you currently have and you perceive that it is more than other people and how it's going to impact them, how they are going to look at you, how they are going to perceive you, that can be scary. And that is such a huge energy leak that will be very difficult to overcome if you don't Flex Seal. It's getting to the root of it and healing and shifting so that you can be the version of you that can see what is actually happening, see the reality of what is happening, and still choose to own your desires and to know that your success will only ever benefit everybody else. Again, unless you're a terrible fucking person. And if you are, shut this off. And another thing that comes is making yourself smaller in relationships. Because when you are a powerful person, when you are a powerful woman, there's a lot of, I don't want to say this, but there's a lot of people who probably have made you feel like you were too much. You were just too much, too loud, too whatever. Insert perceived character flaw here. So what you will naturally have the ability, but the like instinct to do is to make yourself smaller and make yourself smaller and make yourself smaller. And the problem with this, I mean, there's a lot of problems, but a big problem with this is if you are not fully in your energy and or fully in your power and fully expressing who you actually are, you will not be able to meet your match. And it's not that I believe necessarily like, oh, there's one person out there for you, but like there's energetic matches, right? If you are making yourself small, you just can't ever be with the person that is just gonna fucking love at the actual version of you. And when you are constantly shrinking yourself, it is painful. And again, you will be resentful and you will slowly die inside. Like that's the only way that I can describe it. Like the way that I used to describe it is I felt like I was rusting from the inside out. And because we're not meant to be a portion of ourselves. We're meant to be the fully expressed version of ourselves always. And when we're not doing that, that's where things like the desires get skewed. Unhealthy, toxic relationships can come from this, from making yourself smaller, because you just won't attract the people that are actually meant to be in your life. True manifestation is not about techniques. Techniques help you get into the correct state of being, helps you get your focus on your internal world. That is actually true manifestation. It is about where your attention lives. Are you focusing outside of yourself or are you focusing on your inner world? If your attention is always on what other people think or what they might think or how other people feel or how to keep the peace, which, hello, that's how most women have been trained to be, your power is outside of yourself. And will you manifest that way? Absolutely. Will it feel good? Will it feel aligned? Will it feel like, I don't know why I'm getting this visual, but it's like the clouds parting and like, it won't fucking feel like that. It'll feel like, why does every person that I go on a date with almost work, but there's just something that I can't get past? Why is it that as soon as the person that I'm talking to gets close to me, I shut down? Why is it that I receive the money that I want, but then I get billed double the amount of what I received? These types of things happen because it's like you're putting all of your power outside of yourself instead of focusing inward. Because true manifestation is focusing inward and allowing your outer world to reorganize and realign to how you perceive yourself to be in the world. What happens when you start making these shifts? Like I've said, your desires, your actual true aligned, beautiful desires will surface. You will feel them, you will know it, you will know it from your fucking core. I want this, I don't want this. Instead of what will people think if I have this? It's like, no, this is it. I can't explain it. This is just what it is. Okay? You will have more grounded decisions because again, you're not focusing on the outer world, how you will be perceived, how other people see you or think about you and all of that. Less overthinking, especially, I mean, it's true with money too, but I was gonna say especially with dating, like, why didn't the person text me? Blah, 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 blah. If you're like so inwardly focused, it won't matter. And the outside world will shift to align to the state that you are being in. And it is just so fucking fun and beautiful and feels good. And that's what we're actually after is that feeling of fulfillment and joy and peace and clarity and just all of it. If you are somebody that knows that you're powerful but still feel like you're holding yourself back, I promise you, you can change, you can shift, and it can be really fucking simple. It's probably not what you're thinking it is. It is that you've spent a lifetime managing everyone else, focusing on what is happening outside of you. And when you start to come back to yourself, that is when you will reclaim your power and you will be a fucking master of manifestation. And when I say manifestation, I mean just living a fucking joyful, happy, content, fulfilling, productive, successful life. And that's what I want for you. If you enjoyed this, I'd love to hear in the comments below. And if this is something that you are looking to work on in your own life, send me an email or click the link on my bio. I currently have space for 2 new one-on-one clients, and I'd love to hear from you.